Bro, I'm gonna kick your...
Yeah, kid.
Who a kid?
You.
You sure you want to take it there?
Bro.
Cause you know my mama was doing when I was a baby.
You're a kid. You're a
So
baby.
You tell my business?
You just told everybody your business. I just co-signed.
Don't worry about it. I see what the I got to do.
On the morning of April 16th, 2021, Lavinia Gardner, 35, ran screaming through the streets of the 10600 block of South Hoxie Avenue in South Deering, Chicago, Illinois. Her body was consumed by second and third degree burns after her 35-year-old husband set her on fire. Just weeks earlier, they had exchanged vows in what they described as their dream wedding. Now, she was running for her life, desperate to escape the man she had promised forever to, but the injuries were too severe, and it wasn't long before the flames claimed her life. This is the gut-wrenching case of Lavinia Gardner. Her story unfolds in Chicago, Illinois, a city celebrated for its iconic architecture and vibrant culture. But beneath its beauty lies a troubling truth. With a crime rate 34% higher than the national average, safety in Chicago is far from guaranteed. And it was within this complex and often dangerous landscape that the heartbreaking events surrounding Lavinia Gardner occurred. Lavinia was affectionately known by the people who were close to her as Vive. She was born in South Deering in Chicago, Illinois. While public records do not detail much about her childhood or immediate family, those who knew her described her as a woman full of life, kindness, and positivity. Her infectious smile and vibrant personality left an impact on everyone she met, and she was a source of light to those close to her. This vibrant personality would often be found on her social media pages, especially on Facebook, where she would often be seen hanging out and goofing around with her friends. She lived in Cook County, one of the most populous and diverse counties in the country, where the vibrant culture of Chicago met the everyday struggles of urban life. Lavinia's educational background has not been widely shared, as she separated certain aspects of her life to what the public should know. Still, her upbringing and the kind of education she had would reflect on her professionalism and the way she carried herself. Lavinia worked as a customer service representative at America's Financial Choice in the greater Chicago area, where she helped clients navigate financial matters. Her ability to listen with patience and respond with empathy made her a valued presence at work. Being a woman in her early 30s who had an established life and network of social life, there was only one thing that was missing in Lavinia's life: a love life that would offer her warmth and connection that she so generously gave to everyone else. Lavinia longed for a partner who would match her energy, someone who would not only support her dreams but build new ones with her. And in the spring of 2020, she will meet a man who will change everything for her. It was the 35-year-old man, Henry Taylor. The beginning of their relationship was not marked by a romantic meeting. At first, the nature of their relationship was only physical rather than a hallmark of emotional connection. But over time, something began to shift. The more they hung out, the more their connection deepened beyond the surface. What started as fleeting moments of companionship turned into something deeper. Henry was charming, confident, and he wasn't afraid to speak his mind. Those qualities made Lavinia fall in love with him. But Henry wasn't the perfect man that he initially seemed like. Behind that facade of a charming man was a past that would foreshadow the tragedy that was coming. Henry had already served time in prison. He spent time in prison for theft and stolen motor vehicle convictions. More to this, Henry was a man who had anger issues. He himself admits that he is not afraid to do things that would satisfy his anger when he gets provoked. It was a past that would have driven other women away, but Lavinia was different. Despite knowing his past in prison and his aggressive tendencies, Lavinia stayed and continued with their relationship, a decision that would later cost her everything. On the surface, their relationship looked like something out of a love story. Their Facebook profiles painted a picture of happiness, smiling selfies, weekend getaways, and affectionate captions that spoke of deep love and unbreakable bonds. But behind it all, their relationship was far from ideal. It was marked by many breakups and reconciliations, which are usually a sign of a toxic relationship. To make it all worse, their reason for breaking up was not because of a lack of romance and love, but because of the explosive arguments they would constantly have. Henry's anger issues and aggressive tendencies did not help either. It only made it worse. And this aggression would eventually lead to a devastating tragedy. But before everything spiraled, Lavinia and Henry, they had their highs. Henry would be incredibly sweet, surprising her with flowers, cooking dinner, and leaving love notes. And these highs led them back to each other. And on March 16th, 2021, they would seal their love for each other in what Lavinia called their dream wedding.
I love you just because you make me so happy. I really thank you for being in my life. And you just are so beautiful. And I really cherish and adore you because you are the one that I want in my life forever.
Came into my life at a time where I couldn't even possibly imagine my worth. I vow to continue to inspire you as you have always inspired me. I promise to give you my eternal loyalty and heart, for you are the only man I would ever need. I'll listen to you. I'll nurture you. I'll fight, but I will be true. I will always do my equal share, and I will vow to never give up on you. From this day forward, I'm here. I'm right here. So you don't let go. You're my strength, my joy, my everything. And when you feel like the world is crumbling, look at me, because I'm your rock. I will love you, and I just want to thank you for choosing me. Because you chose me. I love you.
They did this while on a getaway in Las Vegas, where they gathered close family to witness the intimate exchange of vows. With the bright lights of the city as their backdrop, Lavinia and Henry promised to love and honor each other, believing that whatever struggles they had endured were now behind them. Their wedding video showed nothing but pure joy and the couple's seemingly endless love for each other. To everyone watching online and in person, it looked like the happy ending they had both been searching for. Little did Lavinia know that she had stepped into a deadly trap. In the weeks that followed, Lavinia's Facebook painted the picture of a blissful newlywed life. She and Henry shared playful videos, romantic dinners, and snapshots of quiet moments, hand in hand, smiling like two people who had finally found forever. It looked perfect. Lavinia looked like she was happy around this time. She shared smiles, celebrations, and moments that seemed full of life. But behind the screen, the same toxicity that had weighed down their relationship remained, hidden from the outside world. In the days leading up to Lavinia's tragic death, she went on Facebook Live showing an aspect of their relationship that, on the surface, seemed wholesome. In the video, she and Henry could be seen sharing a seafood boil, laughing and casually talking with each other. But it was during this live session that Henry said something that hinted at the chilling thoughts that ruled his mind. At one point, Henry casually admitted to struggling with anger issues, brushing it off by calling it short man syndrome, almost as if it was something to be proud of. His tone carried no remorse, no apology, only a sense of stubborn acceptance. And then, he said something even more alarming.
I don't give a f about nobody else, homie.
He over here on his live.
No, I'm on your live. Matter of fact, I'm finna end
You
mine.
You ain't on my, you on your own motherfucking live.
I'm finna end mine and get on yours.
He's on his live
My
doing the
friend
most.
graduated. Your neck was like this.
And how my neck was?
My friend graduated. Big head, boy.
Look at this kid, y'all.
I got real friends getting education. Don't put me on your live because I don't f with some of them sucking on your page. I'm waiting to run into one of your. I'm waiting to run into one of your friends. I'm gonna open this motherfucking head up.
Baby, I put this thing on.
I'm gonna open his head up and set his on fire.
Thank you, Passion.
What somebody said? Congratulations.
Mm-mm.
Cause you ain't really. We ain't married, y'all.
You a motherfucking lounge truth ain't in you.
Boy, we went to a photo shop. That's a photo shop.
Yeah, alright. Nigga a goofy.
That's a photo shop, boy.
How do you Photoshop? You a goofy. Yes.
Bro, I'm gonna kick your.
He a kid.
Who a kid?
You.
You sure you want to take it there?
Bro.
You know my mama was doing when I was a baby.
You're a kid. You're a baby.
You my business?
You just told everybody your business. I just co-signed.
Don't worry about it. I see what the fuck I got to do.
Y'all should see him.
I'm finna do you like a porn. Bro, don't put me in your fucking vibe, bro.
He over here banging this motherfucker core.
I'm hungry. I ain't ate all day.
Yes, you did. You had a whole gyro and some okra. And
you called me a gyro and I'm some thought or something.
That's what the hell you wanted.
You want a gyro? I'm worth more
First
than that. I'm talking about shrimp.
That's why I got you crab eggs and shrimp. Didn't I just give you?
I'll take a sip.
Didn't I give you 3% tax?
3%. Then this. Oh, you gonna take all my stuff?
I bought it. What about that one? That was your 3% when I bought it.
What you mean?
Your Pepsi. I bought you a Pepsi sitting right there. And I bought your icy.
Hey, my mans, you getting too loud. You getting too loud.
I bought you 2.
Hey, you gonna have to speak to me. You gotta talk to me nice. Cause I'm about to fuck you up. I really got anger issues because I'm short as I really have the short man syndrome and I'll be ready to explode. I'm like, man, don't let me do this to you. I don't want to hurt you. You know what you mean, man?
Yeah, I really be saying crab up worse than this,
boy,
but I am on live, so I ain't gonna let y'all see how I really be eating.
I will go back to prison. And I ain't going for a fight. I'm trying to break your motherfucking neck. And then stay there at the scene of the crime.
That's why I like,
Yeah, you want these shrimp, man?
no, but really? So you trying to kill me?
Why you put that right there?
As the live continued, Henry's words took a dark turn. With a calmness that felt more chilling than rage, he openly admitted that he wasn't afraid of going back to prison. He spoke as if incarceration was just another part of life, something he had already endured and could easily return to. Then came the most disturbing part. With Lavinia right in front of him, Henry declared that he had nothing to live for, and that if someone ever crossed him, he wouldn't hesitate to take their life. There was no humor in his voice, no hesitation in his tone, just a blunt, matter-of-fact threat dressed up as bravado. It was a moment that should have set off the alarms inside Lavinia. She should have realized right then and there that the man she had married was not someone with whom anyone would be safe with. But instead, it passed like a casual comment, a terrifying glimpse into the storm that was quietly brewing beneath the surface. In the days that followed, there were no obvious signs that something catastrophic was about to happen. On social media, Lavinia still appeared to be the same bright soul, sharing lighthearted posts, engaging with friends, and posting selfies that showed no trace of fear. But things would take a dark turn on the morning of April 16th, 2021. It started like any other day in the Englewood neighborhood of Chicago, where Lavinia and Henry were staying. However, as the day progressed, the couple had gotten into another heated argument. The details of what those arguments were are not known, but it was something that escalated into something far beyond words. What happened next was something no one could have imagined. In a fit of uncontrolled rage, Henry grabbed a container of lighter fluid, and with Lavinia standing just feet away, he doused her in it. And while she was soaked in that fuel, Henry flicked a lighter, threatening to set Lavinia on fire. It was something that terrified Lavinia. She knew that he was not bluffing, so she tried to tell Henry to stop whatever he was planning to, but instead of stopping, he continued flicking the lighter, and within seconds, The lighter that was flicking set Lavinia on fire. In a desperate, instinctive act of survival, Lavinia tore off her burning clothes as she screamed in agony. She ran toward the bathroom, trying to douse the flames with water, trying to save what little she could of herself. After the fire was extinguished, Lavinia ran to the streets naked, desperate to get any help that she could. Remnants of her clothes and the plastic on her hair extensions had melted onto her skin. She suffered excruciating pain as she ran for 2 blocks until she reached the Chicago Fire Department's Engine 81 on 10458 South Hoxie Avenue, Chicago. There, she pounded on the door as she asked for help, telling the firefighters that her very own husband had poured gasoline on her and set her on fire. They rushed her inside and did what they could to help while the paramedics were called. Over 70% of her body was covered in second and third-degree burns. When the paramedics arrived, she was brought to the Trinity Hospital, but her injuries were far too severe for them to handle. So doctors made the urgent decision to transfer her to the University of Chicago Medical Center, where she would get specialized treatment. Lavinia would undergo multiple surgeries, clinging to life as her body fought through the unimaginable pain. But even as she lay in that hospital bed, broken and burned beyond recognition, she was able to make a statement. She knew that her husband was going to kill her. It was a chilling declaration, one that underscored the fears she had carried long before the flames ever touched her skin. Lavinia still fought for her life, but despite her strength, the damage was too great. After over 1 excruciating month, Lavinia's body finally succumbed to the trauma that her body suffered from her very own husband's cruelty. On May 21st, 2021, Lavinia Gardner passed away at the University of Chicago Medical Center, surrounded by the shattered hopes of family and friends who had prayed for her recovery. But the story doesn't end with Lavinia's death. The battle for justice would then follow. Her death was swiftly ruled a homicide, and there was no mystery about who was responsible. The man she had once trusted with her life, her own husband. And so the police immediately released a warrant of arrest for Henry Taylor for Lavinia's death. But it wouldn't be a long fight for justice for them. On May 26, 2021, 5 days after Lavinia's death, Henry turned himself in to the Rogers Park District Station, and there, he waived his rights against self-incrimination and gave a video-recorded statement, openly admitting to the crime he had committed. In the taped confession that sent chills through all who heard it, Henry admitted that he had knowingly set Lavinia on fire. But he had his version of what had happened that morning. Henry said that he was not even close to Lavinia when he was flicking the lighter, but she caught on fire, explanation that tried to downplay his intent, but ultimately did little to mask the horror of his actions. What he confessed to doing after was even more disturbing. Instead of calling for help for his wife, he called her grandmother and told her what he had done. Until now, it remains unclear whether it was a moment of guilt or simply the callous act of a man completely devoid of remorse. Following his chilling confession, on May 28, 2021, Henry Taylor appeared in the Cook County courts where he was formally charged with first-degree murder, and he's now being held without bond, which means that he will not be able to walk the streets freely until a verdict for this case has been finalized. As of now, Taylor Henry is still awaiting trial, and the details of his case are not publicly disclosed. Be that as it may, one thing is certain. He is now awaiting to face the consequences of the crime he has committed. As the legal process moves forward, the details of what happened that night send a wave of devastation to the people that was left by the untimely passing of Lavinia Gardner. Family members, friends, and neighbors who once celebrated Lavinia and Henry's marriage were now left grappling with an unthinkable tragedy. In the following days, a GoFundMe page was set up to help cover Lavinia's funeral expenses, and in a short time, the fundraiser surpassed $6,000, which was a testament to how deeply Lavinia's story resonated with so many. Lavinia's funeral was held just weeks later, a bittersweet gathering that drew loved ones, friends, and even strangers whose story she had touched. To mourn her passing and to celebrate her life, the people she left behind released purple balloons to symbolize the light and love Lavinia had brought into the world. It was a simple yet powerful tribute, a way of saying goodbye while holding on to the beauty she left behind. But even as the community came together to honor Lavinia, the sadness of her loss remained. Her passing led to conversations beyond her neighborhood, highlighting the struggles that often go unnoticed in many homes. It became a reminder of the importance of recognizing the signs of domestic violence and the need for better support and resources. Lavinia Gardner's story touched many lives and encouraged a wider conversation about helping those who may be silently facing difficult situations. Let us know what you think about this case in the comments below.